This is Sarah,
Erin,
Brianna,
and Joe. And thanks for popping by MeaningFueled, where we take your problems of practice, your pops, and have a meaning-fueled discussion about where they come from and where do we go from there.
We are 4 longtime educators bringing our diverse experiences to the table.
We're harnessing all the energy of popping into your teacher bestie's classroom and bringing it straight to your ears.
let's get popping with today's problem of practice. This is a heavy one. You guys ready?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Pilots, committees, feedback forms, professional development, or not, followed by mixed messages. Teach it with fidelity, word for word. No. Teach it with integrity. Use it as a guide. Is your head spinning?
Yes.
Welcome to a new curriculum process. The reading wars have been raging again, and the result has been that the districts are rolling out new curriculums. Some people are excited, some people are terrified, some people are indifferent, and others are ready to light the torches and raise the pitchforks at the prospect of change. Some districts are ready to support teachers through this process, and others are throwing teachers into the deep end and asking them to swim. Grab your life vests. We are diving into curriculum adoption.
Splash.
So I think we've all been there. We've all been through new curriculum. We've all been through, changing curriculum.
I think we're all there right now.
Yeah. We are, in fact. So I guess the question is, what goes wrong with curriculum rollouts, and what types of feelings does this create for teachers?
I think the first thing is that there's just like an unrealistic timeline. Teachers want it right now. Teachers can't think about it for 2 more years. Like everyone's kind of has different hands in their pots. But what I've been in my experience is that like the researching, the narrowing down, the piloting, the choosing the new curriculum for next year is all just shoved into 6 months after like the start of the year, and then it's June, whatever.
And this is normally accompanied by like somebody new coming in.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Oh my God, almost always.
I
And
say
deciding you
as a
can do
new elementary curriculum coordinator.
You're
in.
the problem.
Right.
But like there's so many things that get missed when you rush it like this. Different stakeholders don't get enough of a say. We're talking classroom teachers. We're talking administration. We're talking multilingual learner teachers. We're talking special educators. Like there's just not enough time to get everyone's voices heard. Not even to mention like parents who definitely want a say. If we're talking high schoolers, maybe giving the kids a chance to have a say. Like not even getting to those ever. Because we're not even getting to like all the teachers.
Or we're getting to them in a way that's like, here's one afternoon that we've blocked off for
Right.
PD, and go ahead and familiarize yourself with the entirety of a curriculum.
Right.
And then make
multiple at
right.
the same time.
And then
And
make
on
an
Friday, fill out a
informed
Google
decision.
form.
Right.
Right.
And we need the Google form by
You need
Friday.
to fill it out 2 days from
which
now.
one you want or
Right.
like better. They don't really understand those curriculums.
And no one has
they're
the
not-
time.
They're not making an informed decision.
No.
Right.
Right?
No.
And like, it just leads to so much frustration because people who do care, definitely it comes from a place of caring and like wanting to do best by kids, then don't feel like they have the time to do best by kids. So it just leads to more frustration. You don't get enough buy-in. You have all the people who are anti this curriculum, but they don't even know what they're anti because
No, they don't really understand it.
don't right. They don't have the knowledge to like be like, I'm actually against this. And then like the pilot being, I don't know, a week or 2, and then making a decision based off of that for an entire year, an entire 5-year plan. How does that give you enough information at all?
Right.
You're
Well,
not,
you
are
know
you
what-
even getting into an assessment? Like, no.
Erin was just telling me her district is piloting a new ELA curriculum. And they were like arguing over which of the pilot units to teach, because like, well, the teachers might like this unit more than they might like this unit, but it doesn't make any sense because like if you pick that curriculum,
You're going to have to teach it
you have
anyways.
to teach all the units,
Right.
So they're like
Right.
trying to like set it up to like favor one curriculum over like by picking the best unit. I'm like, well, that's not the right approach, right? Because
Right.
like
No. Oh
you
my
just want to
God.
like
And in terms of stakeholders, like people don't want to make decisions. Help them out. Make some decisions for them. Like
Right.
in the long run, that pilot is there, but that's not. It's ultimately the bigger curriculum you choose.
Right,
So
you're doing the
that's
whole
the
thing.
thing.
Right.
You're going to do the whole thing eventually.
And
Right.
like, let's be real. Can you understand a brand new curriculum in 2 weeks? Absolutely,
Absolutely
not.
not.
Absolutely not.
Like it takes you you have to teach the full curriculum for a year to even like feel
one
like you
unit
have
might
your
be great
feet underneath you.
and one unit might be terrible too.
Right.
I mean, like even if the unit you pilot, if they give you time to pilot a full unit, so you need at least
which is dicey.
4 to 6 weeks, right? But then you still one unit out of maybe 4 or 5, 6 that are part
maybe
of
the
that.
other ones are worse.
Right.
Who
Like,
knows?
you
Or
really
maybe
don't know.
they're better and that one isn't.
Right.
Or like who's doing the piloting? Because like I'm putting in 10 hours a day of just thinking about this curriculum. Is the teacher down the hall who's piloting putting in all this unpaid extra time to do it? Maybe not. And
then it went
we're gonna
terribly
have-
for them.
we're going to
because-
have different
right.
experiences
Right.
and different thoughts and feelings, and it sets you up for
Right. So then
such
after
failure.
it's picked, then how do you go from there? Like, because then who gets to roll it out? If we all do this, do we all do the same thing? What is that going to look like? Not having a clear plan or unclear expectations, there's a lack of communication, there's a lack of transparency. Which pieces are we doing? How are we doing it? Is it with fidelity? Is it with integrity? Are we doing all the assessments? Are we doing all the units? That's what we ran into with our pilot last year. It was like, well, are we going to do all the units or are we going to do like half the units? And like, how did we choose teachers and all of these things? And no one really has the clear answers to all of these questions.
And no one wants to make, like, when it comes down to it, I feel like no one wants to make decisions.
Right.
Right.
Well, because
like,
they don't want to make the wrong decision, so
Right.
they make no decision.
you're like, okay, are we doing the assessments? There's an argument for like in year 1 of a curriculum, like not doing the assessments because,
You're already taking on a lot.
you're taking on a lot
Right.
and like that's one more piece. And like, do we really want to be like evaluating kids? It could have been my shitty teaching.
Yeah.
Right.
That is like the reason they're not doing well on these. They've also not had the curriculum in previous years.
Yeah.
But then are you doing that with fidelity then?
Right.
If you're not going to do
Right.
the assessments? Because
Nope.
Right. And then the other side of it is like, no, first year, let's dive in. We're not going to like make those assessments like, their report card grades or anything, but like, let's do the
try 'em.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Let's try them out. But like pick a lane.
Yeah.
What they, like you said, Brianna, it just gets left ambiguous.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like, then some people do, some people don't. That like people end up in
And-
so many different places with so many different experiences with it that it creates just a myriad of problems. from
And
there.
nothing frustrates people more than having a lack of clarity.
Yes.
That's been our
Yeah.
biggest discussion, especially this year, is like we need to go in with clarity and communication between all the different levels.
Yes.
Like, what's the district saying? What's this building saying?
Yeah.
What's my admin saying? What are the teachers saying? What are the coaches saying? What are the kids saying? Like, it's like clear communication between all of them because everybody's there for the same message. But if you don't know what that clear message is and you haven't made that clear choice, then it gets muddled between the levels too.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So not only is it creating like frustration at the teacher level, then it creates animosity across like all the way up the ladder, all the way down the ladder, like, and then it's just a total shit show.
Yeah, it comes back to like that poor communication where like, thank God a decision finally got made, but like there was no explanation why that was the decision. So people feel unheard. They
Right.
feel
Look, we're doing this.
they feel like that was the wrong decision, but like there was no communication about like, here's how we came to this opinion of like why this is why we're doing this. It's so bad.
And this
guys.
actually just like happened to me because we are rolling out a new curriculum and the decision has yet to be made
Yep.
about, or maybe by the time this podcast releases, it will be like fingers crossed, y'all.
have to let us know.
It was like no decisions been made. Are we doing the homework or not? Okay. And we're not, right? We decided like we're not launching this curriculum until a little bit into the school year. And so what we did, like, as we said, okay, we don't want people to like start their year doing like one set of routines because that's what you're
Yeah.
going to do all the way through September and October. Let's be real.
Right.
Right. And then have to like shift gears to like something completely different. So we said to, the teachers like, hey, this is what the homework like looks like in the new curriculum. Here's something we've made that you can use in September, October that like looks like it, but, can be done with like any book as opposed to like the curriculum. And we thought we were just doing something helpful. And because there hasn't been a clear decision,
Right.
right? Like, man, they were like,
And now everyone's mad.
are we doing the curriculum? And this is what we usually do. And
Those
Backfired real
pitchforks
bad.
and torches.
I was like, oh my God, I'm new here.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Like I touched a hot coal that I didn't think was that hot.
Right.
Over
Situation.
homework, guys.
Oh, right. And but they're not wrong.
No.
No.
I'm
Right.
not wrong.
No.
But because of back to again the speed at which this is
Yes.
happening. I don't even think like my higher ups are wrong for not having made that decision yet because they've had to make 1,000 other decisions that are like higher priority. Like, and this is a decision we want to make like with the teachers and like when everybody's back and can have a say. But also, people want the decision. We want it 10 minutes ago.
Right, exactly.
And we needed it 10 minutes ago. But the speed of the whole process is too fast. Like that's what's going wrong.
Yeah.
And it's tough because then you get into like, I mean, you're in it and you're like, where are we getting more information from? Is it coming from the curriculum people who sold it to us?
Oh, yeah.
Is it coming from the curriculum
I got
and
a 3-hour
instruction
meeting
people?
with them coming up this week.
Yep. And then they have their own, like, well, when you roll it out to
this is how you
teachers,
should do it.
here are all the things that you can do to help people. And here's all the professional development you can offer. And then sometimes districts are like, great, we'll go with that. And other times they're like, well, we were thinking we're going to do
Well, they run
part
out
of
of
that
money.
and half
Yes,
of this. And they
the
run out of
money.
money.
Yes.
It's like
And it's
you
that,
can't afford their PD
Right.
a lot of the time.
or
because
you
it's
can't
very
afford to
expensive.
pay people because you don't have enough subs to do it during the
Right.
day.
Yeah.
And you have
Yep.
to say it's after school, but then you have to pay people to stay after school because it's outside of their contract.
Right.
Like,
It's almost like, and as crazy as this is going to sound, it's almost like schools and their structures are not set up in a way to really run out, like
What?
roll out a new
What?
curriculum, right?
Yes.
It's like, right? I mean, I was thinking just about the PD piece because it,
Don't us get us started on
it's like,
PD.
right, like once we figured out what the implementation plan is, we have to give ongoing professional development. Does
Or else
that-
it will fall flat
Well,
on its
right,
face.
right.
But I gotta tell you, in my experience, so much of the professional development I have gotten on new curriculums is either one of two things. One, it's very high level, 20,000 feet.
theoretical,
Right.
abstract.
Our
Yes.
philosophy.
This is what we believe as a company, like especially when
Right.
it's coming from like
Yes.
the actual curriculum company writers, and like it's all this like very removed from like what am I
doing
teaching
today?
Right.
tomorrow,
Right.
So that's where I see PD go wrong. And then the second place, and this is the flip, Erin and I were in a district where they hired not the curriculum writers, but a third party to come in and give us like their take on the
Oh
curriculum.
God, just like your scheduling
Yeah.
thing. They
Yes.
hired the third party
They love the third
scheduler.
party.
Oh God.
And the advantage of that could be, maybe they're not going to be at 20,000 feet. They're going to be
Boots on the ground.
boots on the
if you will.
ground, and like get us right into the nitty gritty. That's what maybe one would think. That's not how this played out. Instead, it was like all these things that were tangential to the actual curriculum. And they would have been like helpful hints 3 years into teaching it.
Right.
Like, here's this anchor chart that's not in the curriculum that would be like really helpful to create with your students because it supports the work of this unit. But I don't even know the unit.
Right.
I was
right.
going to say, and then everyone was flipping through the book being like, where is
Where
that
is
anchor
that
chart?
in
Where do I
this?
find it? And they're like, oh,
no,
no,
it's not in there.
It relates to this other one. Well, we haven't read that unit yet. What?
Right.
What are you
Like-
talking about?
I need to know what I'm doing tomorrow. I
Right.
cannot think
I
about
also
March
don't
right now.
actually. I haven't been given time to digest the curriculum yet, so
No.
I don't
I think that's a
actually know what
big
it
piece.
says.
Yeah.
And you're saying this is a substitution or modification, right? It's like getting a meal at a restaurant, and they're like, "This is what's on the menu." Ooh, but we've subbed out 3 or 4 things, and you're like, "Well, how do I compare
Right, how
that
do I
to the
even order?
original meal? I don't know if it tastes any good.
Right.
Who has any idea?" Like,
It was wild. And like, it, but then if you talk to the higher ups, it's like, well, we're giving you PD.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah, but it's
like-
bad.
But
It's
bad,
bad
like,
PD.
And like, I don't know, like you fill out those feedback forms and you just feel like they go into this deep dark void that no one ever looks at.
Yes,
because we all
right.
every time we're like, this isn't working.
And-
Well, you have to keep moving. We don't have the time.
Right.
See you later.
and it really goes into a void because like teachers ultimately start being like, why should I care?
Right.
Like what
Yes.
this is all over the place. If you don't have a vision and you don't have clarity and nothing's communicated to me, I feel like it creates not just frustration, it also creates indifference.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people are just like, cool, you're gonna either tell me that and I'm gonna just open up this script book on my lap in front of kids, which is awful. But like, that's what I'm going to do because that's all I got time to do.
Yep.
Or I'm going to close my door and like not really do what I'm supposed to
And
do.
we all know people.
And we all know that happens, but it's all of this short time frame, all these changes, or it creates frustration where literally even like the smallest thing, right? The smallest piece about homework, like you said, hits that nerve and then it's pitchforks up.
Because
and then
really,
there are pitchforks up at every meeting
Yeah.
and then it grows and it snowballs
that's
into
coming
anger.
from the fact that that's one of like 100 unanswered questions that they have right now because they haven't gotten
Right. It's the tipping point.
Right.
You
And
just
the tipping
you
point.
Sent,
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess
You sent them over an edge.
Right. I guess the question is, what then is the ideal rollout that best addresses all the teachers and their feelings and all of these things that we talked about?
You got to start with the timeline first.
Let's make it more realistic.
My timeline, I don't know how realistic people will tell me it is, but my timeline ideally is multi-year. Like that first year is your research year. It's your year to pull together a committee who's going to be in charge of decision making. Mm-hmm. It's going to be your time to gather information from different stakeholders. It's going to be a time to like make a rubric to see like what are we looking for in a curriculum? What are we doing well? What are we going to fix? All of that
Not
stuff.
a 40-page rubric because I've had that
No.
way too many times. And
Unhelpful. But like taking that time to really like see what is out there, see what your options are, what you might be interested in piloting, how you're going to measure success, you know, more than just like a how do you feel survey.
Right.
That's year one. That's all you're doing year one. And you're dedicating at least, I don't know, a meeting every other week to that. Like give it the time it deserves because that's where I think a lot of people fall down.
And budget in time for things like our school did that this year, but then they had a budget crisis. So we had to pause. And it's like, you need to like have
You
a
can't
little,
pause.
just like when you teach, you got to have some buffer room for things could go wrong. You need a little bit of extra time.
Yeah.
And I think you do have to make sure you have some buffer time too.
Yeah. And then you move into year two. In year two, you're piloting. You're piloting 2, usually, hopefully 2. At maximum 3 different things. You are meeting frequently with whoever's piloting to discuss successes, struggles, see what's working, what's not, what the different programs are like in the real world. At the end of that year, you choose and you plan the rollout, you plan the implementation, and then year 3, you're looking at a more widespread adoption. This gives you the time to give everything what it deserves while still moving rather quick.
But I think a year to really think through the, like, what does each curriculum have to offer in a deeper way is the real important part here.
I agree.
Because that part always gets them, they like want to get to the pilot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I just don't know that we like end up picking the best options.
No.
Off of a pilot.
Well, because
Yeah.
we're
No, I
doing
hear
this
ya.
very surface level. And even if you're giving time to, you know, again, like people like in coaching roles or, you know, curriculum coordination or, you know, assistant superintendents of teaching and learning, if they're taking more time with the curriculums to create like, you know, shortcut guides that give teachers better overviews of like what is it look like, right? So that they can bring that back to the committee and they actually can go through all of that. Like, I think you've got to utilize the other people a lot
Oh,
better
yeah.
Yes.
than, you know, there's work that can be done that can expedite things for teachers because teachers have the most, classroom teachers have the, you know, most limited amount of time.
Yeah.
Right. And their voice is really important. And
It's
I
the
think
most
it's also
important.
hard because I do feel, even in these pilot, like I feel like we skipped over, you know, it's like going to an ice cream shop, you got 100 toppings, but I feel like you skipped over some that you were like, I'm not really in the mood for that. But like, it's actually really the best one. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
sprinkles.
Like, it's actually really good, but we just kind of glazed over it at that moment.
No
And
sprinkles.
I'm afraid we're missing out on something that could be really helpful to kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think the speed at which this happens is a really big piece of all of this. When you do the adoption of it, you need to have a clear plan. You need to have a slow rollout that will allow appropriate support to be given. Have time for the PD, the appropriate PD. You know, is it 1 unit for the year? Is it K and 1 doing it so that other support staff can help them with the
Right.
rollout
And then
and
build
things
it
like
up to
that?
2 and 3 and then
right.
4 and
then
5,
you know
right.
that's kind of what we're doing in our district is like K and 1 are rolling out the new math curriculum and then 2 and 3 are going to do it next year so that our math director can help roll out this curriculum.
And I
with
think
them.
that's being smart. It's knowing what your
Yes.
resources are and not
Yes.
stretching yourself too thin.
Right.
Because if you tell everyone to do it all at once and
It's
you
not
can't
gonna-
support them,
Right. It's gonna
and
fail.
then, right, people start doing their own thing and doing it in different ways, like that's not good either.
Right. Whatever that plan is, communicate it with all the reasoning, to all the stakeholders, so that
With the reasoning.
With
Say
the
it louder
reasoning,
for the
We're
people
doing
in the
only
back.
K1 this year
Because-
we are limited on staff.
correct.
And we want you to feel supported.
Right.
And I really
Communicate
feel
that.
for all the
We're like,
stakeholders
you gotta
because,
build a
like,
foundation.
there are speech and language people that get left out. There
Oh,
are people,
yes.
and they could do things, but they don't
Yes.
even have access to the materials.
No.
They don't
Right.
even know what's happening in the classrooms anymore.
No.
And I feel awful because then they're left on this island of amalgam is trying between curriculum and what they've done.
Right.
I mean, Erin, that's such a good point to bring up. I remember we got a new program years ago now, and the OT person, like, middle of the year was like, these writing lines are terrible for like any kid
Yes.
who has any motor problem at all. And like, did anyone clock that? Oh no, because we just like left her out of the
Right.
conversation.
Yep.
Right.
And like, what a game changer once we changed the paper. What a silly thing to like overlook.
Right.
Right.
Because-
And that might be someone who literally doesn't even have the digital thing to change it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, she absolutely did
They were
not.
like, "Ooh, we
She
couldn't afford
certainly
to
did
get you
not.
materials
Right.
too, so you don't have them."
Right.
Yep. And like, she didn't know what was happening
Right.
because
Yeah.
nothing was communicated.
Right.
Guys.
And so, as Brianna said, like, obviously, during that clear adoption plan, there has to be a lot of time set aside for PD, and districts need to prioritize that, like, we are rolling out a new math curriculum. Your K-1 teachers should be, that's the only PD they should be doing
Yes.
this year.
Oh, yes.
They should be excused from anything
Yes.
else that is not related to that, because they are rolling out a brand new
Right.
curriculum.
All of those curriculum meetings
Every single
have to be around
right.
that.
Everyone that is built in, like, should be focused.
Yes.
It is. We all have seen it too many times when there's 12 other priorities.
Yep.
And then
Right. When there's 99 initiatives.
right, you're not actually allowing the time for people to become good at this, and then you wonder why it's not moving the needle, changing your scores, closing your achievement gap, and it can all link back to that. But I will say, when you do have those sessions, in sort of the inverse of what I was describing before, they have to be focused on the actual lessons, on the actual day-to-day teaching, helping teachers unpack, know the lessons in the unit, figure out how they're structured, why they're structured,
Or
that
what your
way.
classroom structure is going
Right.
to look like around that
What
too,
things,
because
right,
that
do you need a word wall
Right.
for this?
that gets shoved under
Right.
the rug so much.
and all of a sudden
in
you're
these
reading
new
the manual and
Right.
it's like on your word wall put up and nobody told you.
Right.
God dang.
You were
Yeah.
supposed to have a word wall.
One of the new things, one of the new curriculums that I'm piloting at the moment, it's like show them a picture of a map of France, and it just like pops up. I'm like, oh, I gotta pull that up on my phone. Okay, hold
Right.
on. Like, it's yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I also think PD needs not to just be like sessions, though, right? Like in an ideal world, if we're talking about the ideal rollout, a district has people that can be on the ground with you
Yes.
in the classroom for the good, the bad, the ugly of it.
All of it.
Right? So that, like, if it's not going well, you've got some people that can be like, yeah, it's not going well in like multiple classrooms, and we've got to think about doing something differently or supporting people differently or
Yep.
call up our rep from that company because
What are we missing?
we're missing something, like, and I think teachers are sometimes hesitant to have like folks, in their room, especially when they're trying something new, because it feels very vulnerable.
vulnerable.
It is.
But
It
as,
is.
as long as the district makes clear and those people make clear that like they are just there to help
Yeah.
in any way, and they know it's going to be clunky and it's not going to be anyone's best teaching because no one does anything perfect
No.
the first time. Like, as long as all of that is communicated, the professional development should also include a ground plan.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, it's really also the admin, like knowing that I keep reminding our admin, like they're going to be going through a pilot. They're going to have a lot of feelings. It's going to be really messy. Also, like for your evaluations,
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
please keep in mind that this doesn't necessarily reflect them as a teacher.
Yes.
They're testing out something new. And it's really risky. So when you come in, of course, teachers feel terrible. Like, of course, all of those feelings are validated. It's really, really hard. And at the same time, if you don't actually try what the curriculum is, you don't actually know how to move the needle. Like if you haven't actually done it and you do
Right,
it,
if you write it off too early.
if you
Right.
write it off too early, it's going to be really hard. And I think one of the things is like protecting the process. Like you
Oh,
have
yeah.
to protect
Yes.
that timeline. You can't just some budget thing happened. You can't just like all of a sudden like speed warp in.
It's over now.
And be like, well, that's where we were on that. Like you have to protect, like we gave this much time to start. We have to have this much time. And I think as a teacher, you also have to protect like, hey, it is being chosen. I do need to actually try it. And I'd argue that like it's a lot, you have a lot more leg to stand on to pick apart a curriculum and find the holes if you've actually tried it.
Right.
Well, I was going to say, I want to come back to the teaching it with fidelity versus integrity piece, because I am a proponent of you got to do it with fidelity
Yep.
year one.
You have to.
You
Agreed.
cannot know and like use your best professional judgment, which I 100%
Everybody
want teachers
has.
to
Yes.
use, if you don't know what you're doing. Like not knowing the curriculum means like I can't make professional judgment choices. I don't know what this is.
Right.
So you have to learn it first. Year two, bring in that integrity.
Yes.
You know, make changes that you need to
routine
make.
that they want me to do where the
Right.
kids spin in circles and talk, like that's not working for me in my room, in my space. Like a turn and talk gives me the same results. I can make that change.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
But after you've tried
But
it.
after you've tried it.
Right.
Because like I have been that person be like, I know better than this.
Right.
I'm going to do my own thing over here.
Right.
But then like it went much better
Right.
in the
Sometimes you're
colleague's
surprised.
classroom because
Yeah.
they tried the actual thing and there was
Right.
like reasoning behind it.
Right. I think
So.
being open to this new curriculum. I think we all have a lot of feelings about new curriculum, good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. Curriculum rollout needs a lot of forethought, a
Yes.
lot of planning. If you're doing it, you need to give it the time and energy that it needs.
Yes.
If you're not in charge, buckle up for that ride because it is a journey.
And give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
Lots. It's not
Oh,
easy.
yeah.
Like a
It's not easy.
A
We're
grace
not.
parade.
No, none of us are saying that. None of us are saying that this is an easy thing to do. It's
No,
definitely
and like we
hard.
have a bias, I think.
Yes.
You know, that like I don't know, we're the people saying like I feel like if you're listening, like we definitely believe that we should be updating and changing and
Yeah.
you know, moving things forward. And I want to acknowledge there are people that, you know, don't feel that way
Right.
either. And they, you know, would say maybe we should pump the brakes even more.
They certainly have evidence to support their opinions there too. So
Yeah.
I think
The
it goes
pendulum swings.
Yes.
swings.
Yep.
Yep. It definitely does.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for popping by Meaning Fueled today. Remember, we are here for you anytime. Our door is always open. You can visit our website at getmeaningfueled.com for ideas and inspiration to bring to your classroom.
Follow us at Get Meaning Fueled on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Skies, and Threads, and just Meaning Fueled on Facebook.
You can share your thoughts on this week's pop by commenting on any of our posts on social media or by finding the full-length video over on YouTube.
And remember, you can send us your own pops for us to discuss with a DM or at getmeaningfueled@gmail.com. Good luck, everybody.